Have you ever sat in a crowded room, surrounded by noise and laughter, yet felt completely, utterly alone? Have you looked at the conversations around you, the endless gossip, the search for approval, and felt a strange, quiet distance? It is not a distance of anger. It is not a distance of judgment. It is simply a detachment. As if you are looking at a world you no longer belong to. You watch them chase things that do not matter to you. You listen to them argue over things that do not stir your heart. And when you speak, your words are few. Your presence is quiet. Your stillness is deep. And because you do not join their game, they look at you with suspicion. They do not know what you are. Your quiet detachment is incomprehensible to them. And in their confusion, they begin to hate you for it. You see, the world wants to convince you that belonging to the crowd is your only safety. They want you to believe that if you are not sitting at their tables, you are wandering in the wilderness. So you spent years trying to buy their ticket, forcing yourself to speak their language and trying to squeeze your soul into their narrow boxes. But the companionship of the world is the loneliest place of all. It was an illusion of security, a false shelter that did not protect you from the storm. Your soul was slowly starving on their crumbs, while you pretended to be filled. You were trying to belong to a kingdom that was already fading away. And when you finally stepped back, you realized that the wilderness was not your enemy, but the place where the king was waiting to feed you with the manna of heaven. If you have felt this quiet distance growing inside your soul, type "I feel it" in the comments. Let the spiritual realm know that you are awake. Let us speak of this silence. Let us speak of this weight. For many years, you tried to fit in. You forced yourself to laugh at jokes that were not funny. You forced yourself to care about dramas that were empty. You wore the masks they wanted you to wear. You walked the paths they wanted you to walk. But the fit was never right. It was like wearing clothes that belonged to someone else. It was like speaking a language that was not your own. And then, one day, something shifted. A quiet hand was laid upon your shoulder. A soft voice whispered to your heart, and you stopped. You stopped trying. You see, there is a profound, exhausting weariness in living a double life. It is the heavy toll of pretending to laugh when your heart is weeping in secret, of forcing yourself to speak their empty chatter when your spirit is crying out for the presence of God. You spend so much of your precious energy keeping up the appearances, making sure they did not see the quiet distance growing within your soul. You wore the mask of the crowd, but it was suffocating your true calling. It was a heavy, exhausting cage, and your spirit was simply too tired to play the actor in their theater any longer. You realized that the energy spent pleasing them was energy stolen from your destiny. So you laid down the mask, you stepped out of the spotlight, and you allowed yourself to rest in the quiet truth of who you are before God. You stopped running. You stopped pleading for their acceptance. You simply stepped back. You withdrew into the quiet sanctuary of your own soul. You detached. To the world, this looks like pride. To the world, this looks like coldness. They see your silence and they call it arrogance. They see your peace and they call it indifference. They ask themselves, who does this person think they are? Why do they not join us? Why do they not seek our approval? They cannot understand a soul that is not hungry for their validation. They cannot understand a spirit that does not bow to their expectations. Your peace is a threat to their chaos. Your silence is a mirror to their noise. When you do not react to their bait, when you do not defend yourself against their whispers, when you do not run to join their circles, it exposes something inside them. It exposes their own emptiness. It exposes their own desperation. They hate you not because of what you do, but because of what you refuse to do. They hate you because they cannot influence you. They hate you because they cannot control you. They cannot pull you down into the mud where they have chosen to live. This detachment is not your invention. You did not wake up one morning and decide to be different. It was a slow, divine extraction. God was quietly untangling your heartstrings from the web of this world, one by one. He was cutting the invisible cords that bound your self-worth to their opinions. He was shutting the doors that you tried so hard to keep open. He was making the old places uncomfortable for you. He was making the old conversations taste like ash in your mouth. You thought you were losing your mind. You thought you were failing. You thought something was wrong with you because you could no longer enjoy the things everyone else enjoyed. But God was not punishing you. He was consecrating you. He was marking you. He was pulling you out of the crowd so that He could speak to you in the quiet. A vessel that is set apart for the King's table cannot be used for common tasks. It cannot remain in the common kitchen. It must be washed. It must be isolated. It must be kept clean. Your detachment is the seal of your consecration. Your silence is the guard around your calling. Do not apologize for the distance you feel. Do not try to build bridges to places God has commanded you to leave. Do not try to explain your peace to those who love chaos. They do not know what you are, and they never will, for they are looking at the container, but God is working inside the content. They see your quiet exterior, but they cannot see the fire that burns within your spirit. They see your boundary, but they cannot see the hand that drew it. Let them wander. Let them whisper. Let them hate the peace they cannot steal. For your quiet detachment is not a shield of stone. It is a sanctuary of grace. It is the resting place of the Holy Spirit. You have been pulled out of the noise. You have been rescued from the theater of human opinions. You are being prepared for a glory that this world cannot comprehend. Why does this world feel so foreign to you? Why do you walk through its streets, look at its achievements, and feel like a stranger visiting a city that is not your home? You look at the dreams of those around you, their plans to build monuments of sand, their endless striving for a title, a status, a moment of praise from human lips, and inside your chest there is only a quiet void. You do not envy their gold. You do not desire their applause. You look at the heights they strive for, and you feel no urge to climb. It is as if you are speaking a different frequency. It is as if your feet are walking on a different ground. The pensive British scholar C.S. Lewis, who spent his life studying the quiet halls of Oxford, understood this deep ache of the soul. He knew what it was like to feel out of place in a world that demands complete compliance. He captured this truth in a profound way, paraphrasing from Mere Christianity. You were made for a different world. Let these words sink into your spirit. You were made for a different world. If you have realized that you cannot settle for the empty promises of this life, type "I will not settle" in the comments. Let it be your quiet vow to the Creator. This homesickness you feel is not a psychological condition. It is not depression. It is not social anxiety. It is the spiritual gravity of your true home. When you look at the stars and feel a quiet longing, when you walk in the silence of the woods and feel a peace that no human voice can give you, you are feeling the pull of the kingdom. The world wants you to believe that something is wrong with you. They want you to think that your detachment is a disease. They want you to seek their counsel, to read their books, to buy their products, to learn how to be normal. They want to cure you of your separation, because a person who is not satisfied by the world cannot be controlled by the world. A soul that does not fear their exclusion is a soul they cannot manipulate. But God has engineered this dissatisfaction inside of you. He made you allergic to the counterfeit. He made you uncomfortable in the slums of this world. As C.S. Lewis famously observed, we are like ignorant children, preferring to go on making mud pies in a slum, because we cannot imagine what is meant by the offer of a holiday at the sea. Most people are content with the mud pies. They are content with the gossip, the minor victories, the passing pleasures that leave them empty by morning. But you could never be satisfied with the mud. You tried. Oh, how you tried. You sat at their tables and ate their food, but you left hungry. You drank from their wells of gossip and praise, but your throat remained dry. You realized that no amount of human company could cure the loneliness in your spirit, because that loneliness was not a cry for people. It was a cry for the King. It was the signature of God written upon your DNA. When you carry the weight of eternity in your heart, the temporary concerns of this world lose their hold on you. The minor gossip, the social climb, the petty arguments, they all begin to feel completely weightless. You cannot be weighed down by the dust of this earth when your eyes have seen the far country. You cannot worry about the opinions of passing shadows when you are anchored in the rock of ages. This is the weight that makes you light. It is the divine gravity that pulls you upward, away from the friction of their daily drama. You look at their grand achievements and you see them as children's play compared to the eternal glory that is being formed in your quiet obedience. You have tasted the bread of heaven, and the mud pies of this world can no longer satisfy your hunger. You are living for a different century. Your detachment is the beginning of wisdom. It is the moment you stop looking for the living among the dead. It is the moment you look at the theatre of this life and realize the actors are wearing paper crowns and the gold is only paint. You have stopped running after the illusions. You have stopped trying to force yourself into shapes that do not fit your eternal soul. They look at your detachment and they are troubled, because when you walk away from their games, you quietly expose the insignificance of what they value. By refusing to fight for their praise, you show them that their praise has no value. By refusing to respond to their anger, you show them that their anger has no power. By remaining silent in their courts, you show them that their judgment has no weight. This is why they hate you, not because you have harmed them, but because your detachment has rendered them powerless. You have stepped outside their system. You are no longer a citizen of their kingdom of noise. You are an ambassador of a quiet realm, a realm of light, a realm of stillness. You are a stranger here, and a stranger must expect to be misunderstood. A stranger must expect to be viewed with suspicion. Do not look for their welcome. Do not wait for their validation. Your passport belongs to another country. Your inheritance is kept in a different treasury. Your king is not of this world. Stand tall in your separation. Walk quietly in your detachment. For the homesickness you carry is the proof of your birthright. You are a citizen of eternity, and the King is preparing you to inherit the land. Let us go deeper into the mystery of this friction. Why does your quietness provoke their anger? Why does your peace stir their resentment? The answer was written long ago, on a dusty road in Judea, by the only one who walked this earth in perfect holiness. He stood before his disciples, looking at the crowd that would soon demand his life, and he explained the spiritual law of friction. In the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 19, he declared, "If ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you." Read those words again. Because ye are not of the world, therefore the world hateth you. This is the divine diagnosis of your rejection. If you are ready to stop fighting for the acceptance of a world you were called to leave, type "I'm ready" in the comments. Let the sanctuary know your heart is decided. The world loves its own. The world recognizes its own language, its own values, its own currency. It understands the person who seeks revenge. It understands the person who lives for vanity. It understands the person who is easily offended, who gossips, who builds their fortress upon human pride. These are the citizens of the world. But when you enter the room, carrying a quiet detachment, you are carrying a foreign substance. You are carrying a light that does not belong to their darkness. They do not hate you as a person. They hate the light that you carry, because light has a property that darkness cannot tolerate. Light exposes. In a room that has been dark for years, everyone gets used to the shadows. They learn to walk in the dark. They learn to live with the dust and the decay. They tell themselves that the room is clean, that the shadows are normal. But when you walk in, holding a candle of truth, the light immediately reveals the dust. It reveals the cracks in the wall. It reveals the dirt on the floor. You do not have to say a word. You do not have to preach. You do not have to point your finger. Your quiet presence alone is the light. Your refusal to join in their gossip makes their words sound dirty even to themselves. Your refusal to get angry makes their rage look childish. Your refusal to seek their approval reveals the bankruptcy of their social kingdom. They look at you and they are forced to see themselves, and they do not like what they see. They do not want to see the dust. They do not want to see the decay. They fear your silence because it acts as an unyielding, quiet mirror. When they speak their empty words and you respond only with stillness, they are forced to hear the echo of their own vanity. When they try to pull you into their resentment and you remain untroubled, your peace exposes their deep instability. It is not that you are pointing out their flaws. It is that the light you carry naturally reveals what they have hidden in the dark, and they are terrified of being uncovered. They would rather you argue with them, because if you fight back, you are just like them. Your anger would justify their rage. Your defensiveness would validate their accusations. But your quiet detachment leaves them with nothing to hold on to. They strike at you, and their blows land on empty air, leaving them to face their own reflection. So, instead of cleaning the room, they try to blow out your candle. They call your silence arrogance. They call your boundaries hostility. They whisper about you in the corners. They build conspiracies to explain your peace. They think they are better than us, they say. They think they are special. They must construct a narrative to explain why you do not run to join their table. Because if they admit that you are set apart by God, they must also admit that they are living in the dark. So they hate you. They hate you because your detachment is unbelievable to them. They cannot understand a person who is willing to stand alone. They cannot understand a person who finds their nourishment in the secret place rather than the public square. Do not be surprised by their whispers. Do not be hurt by their rejection. It is the validation of your extraction. If the world loved you, you would have to ask yourself, am I still of the world? If they welcomed you with open arms, you would have to wonder, have I lost my light? The hostility you feel is the wind blowing against a ship that is leaving the harbor. It is the proof that you are moving in a different direction. You have been chosen out of the world. And when God pulls you out, He does not leave you in a vacuum. He replaces the superficial noise with a deep, weightless peace. You no longer need to defend yourself. You no longer need to explain. Let the light shine. Let the shadows flee. And let your silence be the loudest sermon you ever preach. For the King is your protector, and His light in you will never be put out. To understand this quiet detachment, we must look at what you actually are. The world treats you as a physical object to be categorized, labeled, and filed away. They want to define you by your job, your bank account, your family history, or the mistakes of your past. They look at you with physical eyes, measuring your height, your clothing, your outward appearance. And when you do not fit their categories, they become frustrated. They do not know what you are, because they do not know what a human being actually is. C.S. Lewis, in his brilliant clarity, exposed this fundamental illusion of the material world. He wrote a warning that should be carved into the heart of every chosen one. You don't have a soul. You are a soul. You have a body. Let that truth echo in the chambers of your mind. You don't have a soul. You are a soul. You have a body. If you understand that your value is written in the heavens, not in the dust of this earth, type "Only God knows" in the comments. Let the digital page record your alignment. You are a soul. You are an eternal spark of the divine breath, clothed in a temporary garment of clay. This body you wear, this name you are called, this town you live in. These are only the costumes and stage of a temporary play. But the world has forgotten the play. They believe the theatre is the only reality. They believe the paper crowns are real gold. They spend their entire lives decorating their clay, polishing their garments, and fighting for a front row seat in a theatre that will soon burn. And when you walk through the theatre, refusing to fight for the seats, refusing to boast about your clay, carrying yourself with a quiet, weightless detachment, it disrupts their entire illusion. Your silence tells them, this is not the real world. Your peace tells them, there is a king who is greater than this theatre. They want you to think you are only a body, because if you are only a body, they can frighten you with physical lack. They can control you with physical isolation. They can manipulate you with the promise of physical comfort. But when you realize you are a soul, their power is shattered. How can you threaten a person with loneliness, who is already content in the presence of the King? How can you frighten a person with exclusion, who knows they are registered in the book of life? How can you entice a person with the mud pies of the world, who has tasted the bread of heaven? Your detachment is the soul taking its proper place. It is the charioteer pulling the reins. For too many years, your body was running the show. Your flesh was screaming for approval. Your physical brain was worrying about the whispers of mortal men. You were living in the outer court, where the noise of the market and the dust of the street filled your eyes. But God has moved you into the inner court. He has pulled you behind the veil. He has established His kingdom within you. Your silence is the boundary of the temple. You do not allow the noise of the market to enter the sanctuary. You do not allow the sellers of vanity to set up their tables in your mind. When they whisper about you, the whispers do not reach your soul. They bounce off the thick walls of your consecration. When they reject you, it does not chip away at your value, because your value is kept in the Holy of Holies, where only the high priest can enter. They do not know what you are. They look at you and see a puzzle they cannot solve. They try to analyze your behavior, trying to find the key to your silence. Is it pride, they ask? Is it fear? Is it weakness? They will never find the key, because the key is not in this world. Your life is hid with Christ in God. Your anchor is dropped in the deep waters of eternity. Do not try to explain the temple to those who love the marketplace. Do not try to show them the treasure that you carry. Let your quietness remain a mystery. Let your peace remain an unanswered question. For you are a soul, and the King has set His temple inside of you. Walk in your royalty. Rest in your detachment, and know that the house God is building in you will stand long after their theatre has turned to dust. Now that you know your identity, you must understand your responsibility. This quiet detachment is not a passive escape. It is not a license to look down on others. It is a spiritual guard. It is the shield that protects your calling from contamination. For the enemy of your soul knows that he cannot defeat you in a direct battle. He cannot take away the light God has put inside you. He cannot overwrite the decree of your election. So he tries a different strategy. He tries to provoke you into reacting. He sends critics to whisper. He sends people to misinterpret your silence. He creates minor dramas in your family, in your workplace, or in your friendships. He wants you to lose your quietness. He wants you to open your mouth, to defend your name, to shout back at those who insult you. Because the moment you open your mouth to fight them, you are stepping down from the mountain and entering their mud. You are letting their poison enter the sanctuary of your mind. You must remember the warning written in the ancient scriptures. In the book of Psalms, chapter 4, verse 3, King David declared, "But know that the Lord hath set apart him that is godly for himself. The Lord will hear when I call unto him." Listen to the weight of those words. The Lord hath set apart him that is godly for himself. This is your protection. This is your safety. If you have looked back at the doors that were closed, the connections that were cut, and realized it was all for your safety, type, "Every ending was preparation" in the comments. Let the covenant be sealed in your heart. You have been set apart for himself. You do not belong to the public debate. You do not belong to their social circles. You belong to God. And because you belong to him, your defense is his responsibility. Your vindication is his business. When you remain silent, you are not showing weakness. You are showing absolute trust. You are telling the king, "I will not defend my name because my name is kept in your hand. I will not fight for my reputation because you are my shield." Your silence is not a passive retreat. It is an active spiritual fortress. Every time you choose to hold your tongue instead of retaliating, you are building a wall of divine authority around your life. You are locking the gates of your mind against their toxic arrows. They want you to speak because speech is the arena where they can fight you. They understand how to argue, how to debate, how to slander, but they have no weapons against a soul that refuses to enter the arena. Your silence makes you untouchable. It is the shield of non-retaliation that extinguishes every fiery dart of the enemy. Let them scream at the walls. Let them throw their stones. Inside the fortress of your silence, you are resting in the secret pavilion of the King, where the strife of tongues cannot reach you, but the world cannot comprehend this trust. They believe that if you do not fight, you are defeated. They believe that if you do not speak, you have nothing to say. They do not understand that your silence is the silence of an army that is waiting for the commander's word. It is the quiet before the breakthrough. The enemy wants you to compromise. He wants you to look at those who are succeeding in the mud, those who are thriving on gossip, those who are building their kingdoms on vanity, and feel envy. He wants you to say, "Why must I stand in the quiet? Why must I walk this lonely path? Why can I not have what they have?" This is the temptation to settle. It is the temptation to trade your holiday at the sea for their mud pies. But you must guard the sanctuary. Do not let their resentment pull you down. Do not let their confusion make you doubt what you are. When they look at your detachment with hatred, respond with a quiet prayer. When they exclude you, thank God for the wall of protection He has built around you. Every closed door was a rescue. Every broken relationship was a shield. Every moment of isolation was a divine classroom. You are being prepared. The distance you feel is the distance between the clay and the stars. Do not try to shorten it. Do not try to make them comfortable by shrinking your light. Keep the sanctuary clean. Keep the fire burning in the secret place. And leave the outer courts to the noise of the world. For the Lord has set you apart for Himself, and when you call, He will answer, we reach the final boundary of this journey. Your separation is not a sentence of isolation. It is your initiation into royalty. Listen to the sovereign decree, written for you by the Apostle Peter, carrying the absolute weight of heaven's authority. In the first epistle of Peter, chapter 2, verse 9, it is written, But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, an holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should shew forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Look at the words. A peculiar people, a people set apart, a people who do not belong to the crowd. Your quiet detachment is your royal robe. It is the proof of your holy office. You are a priest of the quiet place, and a priest does not seek the validation of the temple merchants. C.S. Lewis summarized this duty with perfect intellectual force. It is not your business to succeed, but to do right. When you have done so, the rest lies with God. Let these words settle the dust in your mind. It is not your business to succeed, but to do right. When you have done so, the rest lies with God. When you are accepted by heaven, the rejection of the earth is no longer a wound. It becomes your crown of honor. You do not need their seats of honor when the King of Kings has already reserved your place at his table. You do not need their validation when his seal is pressed upon your forehead. Their exclusion is only the proof that you have been invited to a higher table. Rest in that acceptance. Let the approval of the Father be the final word over your identity. You are not defined by who left you, but by who chose you. You are not defined by the doors that were closed, but by the heaven that has been opened over your life. Let their rejection be the oil that consecrates you. For the King has spoken, and his approval is your eternal shield. If you receive this decree tonight, if you are ready to let go of the struggle and rest in his plan, type I receive it in the comments. Let it be your shield. Your only business is to stand right before him. It is not your business to convince them of your value. It is not your business to prove your innocence to critics. It is not your business to succeed in their physical theater. Your only duty is to remain obedient in the quiet. When you have done that, the rest, their whispers, their rejection, their plots, and their hostility, lies entirely with God. He will handle the marketplace. He will silence the mockers. He will bring down the high walls of their pride. Your silence is your surrender to his victory. Let us seal this word with prayer. Close your physical eyes. Breathe in the quietness of this midnight hour, and let your spirit join me in these words. Heavenly Father, I come to you in the silence. I thank you for pulling me out of the noise. I thank you for the detachment I feel. I now see it is not my failure, but your protection. I surrender the desire for human approval. I lay down the need to defend myself. I accept the boundaries you have drawn. Guard my mind from bitterness. Bless those who hate my peace. Keep my temple clean. I rest in your sovereign decree, for I am yours. Amen. Feel the weight lifting from your shoulders. Feel the peace settling over your room like a warm blanket. The search is over. The struggle to fit in is dead. You are set apart. You are protected. You are chosen. You can close your eyes tonight in absolute confidence. Let the world whisper. Let them wander. You are resting in the sanctuary of the King. And now, as we close this circle, if this message has brought comfort to your soul, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Join our Midnight Sanctuary. Keep the fire burning in your heart, and click the next video on your screen to continue your walk in the light. Until we meet again in the quiet, rest in his peace, and know that you are never alone. May the peace of the Lord, which passes all understanding, guard your heart and mind tonight. May he quiet the whispers of the world and fill your room with His presence. Go to sleep tonight, knowing that the battle is not yours, but the Lord's. He is guarding your quiet sanctuary, and He will establish you in due season.